You're listening to Procurement 6, the weekly podcast from the team at Art of Procurement that summarizes this week in procurement in just 6 short segments.
Hi there, I'm Philip Heitzen, and today is Friday, August 4th, 2023.
6.
This week's Procurement 6 is brought to you by the 2023 SaaS and Software Spend Management Survey that we're running in partnership with the team at Productive. So here's one interesting data point based on the responses so far. A third of respondents do not have a standardized process for buying SaaS applications. That's right, a third of respondents don't have a standardized process for buying SaaS applications. Now, on average, it's been taking survey respondents about 4 minutes to complete this short survey. If you are interested in benchmarking your SaaS spend management approach, just head over to artofprocurement.com/survey or check the link in the show notes for today's episode. We'll send an advanced copy of all the results to all that answer.
5.
In this week's AOP podcast, Kelly and I took a look back at the first half of 2023 and considered what's ahead for the rest of the year. Now, one of our areas of discussion were the macro trends that have been impacting the broader economy, and essentially how we've moved from all being focused on a singular trend, such as security of supply and then inflation, to a point where the big issues are becoming more industry and even location specific. Now, I've had some first-hand experience of this following quite a bit of travel across Europe, North America and Africa the past couple of months. So in North America, job markets remain strong, interest rates continue to rise, but recession fears are receding. In the UK, inflation remains high, with the G7 leading 7.9%, with recession fears really still front and centre. South Africa, meanwhile, has a 33% unemployment rate, which Deloitte states is the highest in the world. Industries across the board, from automotive to winemaking and everything in between, are being significantly disrupted by the increase in load shedding, which is the rationing of electricity every day across the country. So what does that mean for procurement? Well, it's a great reminder there's no such thing right now as a global strategy, if there ever has been. Buying strategies may have a general global direction, but with conditions varying wildly from country to country, it's critical to ensure that at worst you take into consideration local conditions, but at best you provide optionality, both in global strategies and even supplier contracts for local teams to customize based on their specific needs. Now, to listen to the full episode, go to artofprocurement.com/podcast or search for Art of Procurement and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
4.
I mentioned in the previous segment that I was recently in South Africa, and during that trip, I had the opportunity to celebrate Mandela Day at Nelson Mandela's former home in Soweto, Johannesburg. Now, Mandela Day celebrates Nelson Mandela's life of service and acts as a reminder to all of us that we have the ability and responsibility to inspire positive change and take action to support the communities around us. These values are definitely part of our why that drives us at Art of Procurement within our small procurement corner of the world. But for procurement, what most immediately comes to mind is to help develop small and diverse businesses. Or it could be supporting the procurement community through mentoring or sharing lessons learned, or starting to ask questions of your suppliers about how they protect against modern slavery in their supply chains. Every action, big or small, that we can take matters to someone.
This is Procurement 6 from Art of Procurement. To get notified every time an episode is published, go to artofprocurement.com/subscribe. 3.
Clients who abandon procurement projects after receipt of proposals should reimburse respondents their bid costs or a token amount of $5,000. That was a recent post from procurement consultant and friend of AOP Paul Rogers recently on LinkedIn. As you can imagine, the post stirred some debate. Now, in my mind, it's too easy to invite suppliers to an RFP in expectation that to the respondents, it's just the cost of doing business. However, if nothing else, I do think it would be reasonable and show a sign of commitment to make some kind of payment, at least to small businesses, for participating in an RFP, so long as certain thresholds are met, or perhaps for those that get past the first phase in an RFP process.
2.
US CFOs are optimistic the US business landscape is on the path to recovery, with potential interest rate easing going into 2024, according to survey data from Strategic CFO 360 in partnership with Blackline. The proportion of CFOs forecasting increased profitability a year from now rose to 61% in Q3 from 56% in Q2. And the proportion of CFOs expecting revenues to grow over that same period jumped to 74% from 66% in Q2. Now, while a growing proportion of CFOs say they plan to increase capital expenditures in the year ahead, 35% versus 30% in Q2, the proportion planning to increase hiring actually fell to 49% from 53%. Many said that the cost of labour is just too expensive right now and that new technology has helped them streamline operations.
1.
Now, before I let you go, we have an upcoming event that you won't want to miss. On August the 8th, we're hosting Category Palooza, our annual summer festival of category insights. You can join us for 3 hours of sessions that cover categories like packaging and energy and utilities, as well as cross-category information about globalization and GPOs. Category Palooza is our most popular event of the year, and you can sign up for free by going to artofprocurement.com/calendar.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you've enjoyed this pod, help us grow and tell your peers to search for Procurement 6 wherever they get their podcasts.